What's up, Zach? Come on in.
How's it going?
It's going good, man. It's the morning, day 3. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me in.
Yeah, thanks for popping in my my beautiful setup here with my little laptop. It's we're doing a lot of testing. This is Zach. If you haven't noticed, Zach's been on the podcast before. He owns a company called Liftify. They're an online reputation management company. They're awesome. Zach's been great getting to know you and Nick and your team members here. They're actually presenting at the Collective. They've got a booth set up. Zach was on the Head, Hearts, and Boots podcast live here yesterday talking about everything you guys do. So
yeah.
If you've been living under a rock and you don't listen to my podcast, you don't listen to me talk, or you're sick of hearing it, Zach, why don't you give everybody a little introduction of who you are, what you do, where you're from, and how you are helping the industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Zach. I'm the founder of Liftify, and we exist to help lift businesses up and help them build a stronger online reputation. And at the end of the day, I like to say, Ben, like, your company is really your reputation.
Yeah.
You know, what you're selling one day, if you want to run your business, when you're trying to attract customers, you've got to have a great reputation,
yeah.
You know, online and offline. And so we help companies do that by driving reviews in today's world. It's primarily Google is what matters. And help them build that reputation, and it helps them get found. And that's partnering with people like you and contributes to better search performance and paid performance and all those things. But also helps people choose you. When you have the most reviews, you look attractive and you have that great feedback. It's a great place to do that. So for us, that's what our company does. Based in Indianapolis, a fast-growing company. We have built a unique kind of solution for restoration. We've learned that restoration is different than any home service company. The remediation, the reconstruction, all of those pieces, the complexity of the business is so different. And we feel like there is really just no solution out there that is meeting the needs of restoration companies. And so we've really leaned in hard to this space, and we've gotten a lot of traction, and really just have a passion for helping small businesses as a whole. I think everybody in our team has a small business background, and like at the end of the day, like we love supporting them and feel like what we do and driving reviews, building a good reputation is probably like the lowest hanging fruit. There's a lot of hard things in the restoration business. Getting reviews should not be one of them. So we kind of take that stress.
Right. And people are, when we talk about this before, people are afraid of reviews because they're afraid to get a bad one. And I love what you said in the podcast a few months ago, where that's okay. What's the company you would choose? Somebody with 500 4.7 star reviews or somebody with 2 5-star reviews, right? So it's not that big of a deal. And it actually gives you an opportunity, right, to right that wrong, right? Whether it's an internal problem, you're always gonna have crazy people that leave a review for nothing. It's out of your control completely. But before we get super deep into the reviews and everything you guys do, talk about this event. Let's talk about the Collective. I'm blown away by this event. I've been to a handful of them in this industry, and to me, this is by far one of the best. I've been meeting so many good people. They've aggregated some of the best in the world, including yourself, in what we do here. So you want to talk a little bit about the Collective and maybe how important it is for restorers as businesses to be involved in things like this?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know if I'd put myself in that.
Come on. I put you in there. My podcast, so you can be in there.
I mean, you can say what you want. But yeah, I think it's an awesome event. I think the fact of, especially with what Collective is, or a lot of these, restoration companies that have been independent at one point are looking for community, looking to be part of a team and looking for that professional development. It's so huge to have people, one that you can learn from on stage and awesome speakers, but probably more than that, just the community aspect, the social parts of sitting down with other owners and talking and building those relationships, but also hearing, what are you struggling with? What's going on? And like, business ownership is so isolating. I don't know if you ever feel that. 100%. I certainly feel that in my world. It's so isolating. And so if you can actually just be in community with other people, be in kind of a world-class event, an awesome city here in Austin, to do this kind of event, I think it's life-giving to even just step out of your business for a couple of days and do it. So it's been really good. I think there's a lot of high-powered owners, leaders, industry experts here. And we're honored to be a part of it.
And speaking of industry experts and leaders, I just saw your partner here, Nick, walk up. Come on in, Nick. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Get our good side. Come on in here. Nick is with Liftify with Zach. He's been manning the booth. It's been a pleasure getting to know Nick and everything they have going on. And one of the things that I love about owning a business, Nick, one of the things I love about owning a business, being in this space and helping people is that I really genuinely, if there was something I'd be doing in this world outside of marketing, it would be helping people in some regard. And I feel like I've been naturally drawn to companies and people like yourself or Nick that just really, that's what you're all about. Chris and Brandon from the Head, Hearts, and Boots podcast. I mean, that keynote they just wrapped up. I had to leave a little bit early, but that was like tugging on our heartstrings, the vulnerability that they showed. But then be able to bring it all back to what we're dealing with right now with operations with the businesses. I feel a general affinity to being drawn to people like this. So these collectives, the word collective is so true with this type of industry. So if you're a business owner, you've struggled, right? You're struggling maybe right now. So being a part of this and looking at all of these different businesses, if there was another online reputation management company here, you would have a huge opportunity to learn more about what you could do better. Right? And I'm sure they would be doing the same. So bouncing ideas off each other is super important.
Yeah, and I think too, just that mentality of it, I think you embody it, we do, and some of the other people that we partner with and connect with is like helping local business is like missional.
Absolutely.
It's like those businesses, like I view as like the heroes of the economy. They're supporting not only the customers they're serving in their local community, but their team members. They're pouring money back to their community, funding things like little leagues and nonprofits and those kinds of things. And so I look at our business or your business and saying, hey, like, how can we help these small businesses, because they're the heroes out there in local businesses in communities making a difference. And I would not rather spend my time doing anything else.
No, I completely agree. And I feel really good. It's hard to separate yourself from that, right? As much as I as a person want to help, I mean, I've got a big team and so do you. So we've got to let that go a little bit. But, that's why, we have people like Zach on to teach you a little bit. And that's what we're going to do today. I want to teach the audience something about what you guys do. And I guess the first thing is, what could you identify as the biggest struggle, and we'll speak just to the restoration industry, that they're having when it comes to their online reputation and getting reviews and whatnot?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest challenge that we've seen and the difference in restoration is the fact that the jobs are complex and people don't know when to ask for the review.
Okay.
So a lot of times on a project, you've got the remediation phase, and then you may have multiple reconstruction phases. You may have multiple different invoices that go out to the customer, and insurance involved and lack of clarity. And people go from happy to there's friction to then they're happy again at the end of the project. And so I think a lot of people just don't know, what am I going to do?
Deal with 4 different
contractors. Do I have to wait 3 months to ask for review, or what are they going to say? There's things that aren't even my fault if there's delays or so. It's hard. So I think one thing we would just like encourage people, whether you work with us or not, is you got to ask for that review right after remediation.
Yes.
At the beginning of the project. Like, ask yourself the question, and if this is helpful, I think this simplifies it. We ask all of our customers the question of, when is the customer most happy? Mm-hmm. Right away. You've got to be able to trigger and get them to leave you that 5-star review right then. Typically what we're seeing is that remediation phase is a good point.
Yes.
For that.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of reconstruction, maybe, but there's a lot of factors, by the time you get there at the end. So getting it right there, I think is kind of number one. And then the other thing I'd throw out that is just on the commercial side of the business, this week there's been a lot of talk about this. I think in general, we do a lot of residential business, but we want to do more commercial. The money's in the commercial work. Yeah. And using your reviews and your reputation as a tool, a sales tool to go flex in those commercial jobs.
And people do look at that. People are always going to check the reviews. I mean, 90% of people look at your online reviews before they decide to make a buying decision. So that's on the surface level, that's huge.
Even if they're not seeing it there, when you're trying to put in a bid or build a relationship with a commercial partner, if you have more reviews and you can bring in that flex, it doesn't even matter if most of them are residential, right? It's validation that you're a good company, that you take care of people, that you do stuff. Yeah. And so if you do that, I think that's where it becomes really powerful. And you can just go ahead and just take that as a sales tool. Like, we have customers that literally print them out and bring them in. Say, hey, here's our last 100 reviews from customers. And I guarantee you your competitors are not doing that, right? No. When they're going in. And sometimes, especially in the commercial world, you're just looking for some kind of differentiator.
Absolutely.
Just something that's different that besides, hey, we do restoration.
Why they need to choose you?
And we'll be affordable and we'll do a good job, right? Like, okay, prove it. And that can be one of those just validation
Absolutely.
points.
Yeah, it's your USP. So we talk about this on your website is putting that out there. And you got to walk the walk and talk the talk, right? You're going to we offer a 5-star service on your website. What better way than slapping 300 reviews on somebody's desk, a property manager, somebody you're trying to build a relationship with the reviews. So another thing I thought was really interesting, and we all know, listen, you need to be getting Google reviews. You need to be getting them consistently. And that's why, and it's hard. It's really hard. And just like you mentioned, you've got multiple contractors in the job. The guy in the end, the reconstruction guy, I feel terrible for them because they usually ask for a review and then they get like a 40-page punch list of things they want done and somebody scratches the paint. So they always get kind of the worst, the brunt end of it. But that's huge. Asking for it right away. When the people are happy, that's when they're going to actually take action for you. Yep. But one thing I thought from our other episode that we came on that I thought was really interesting is using your reviews as a tool to package and sell your business, right? everybody should have an exit plan. I talked to Gokul from Restoration Brokers of America, and I was blown away by some of the statistics where I'm like, well, don't most people just hand their businesses down to their kids or those? And he said, it's like 80-something% of people that it's just not the case. They want it to be, but they don't hand the business down. So at some point, running a business, unless you want to just, pass away and just let it go, you should have an exit strategy. And I thought it was really interesting you talking about how reviews could be a powerful tool to help sell your business and sell what you're doing in that model and your unique service proposition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, online reviews, let's just go to a higher level. The internet's not going away.
No.
Right? The internet is going to continue to be the driving force for how you do it. Whether you're searching on Google or you're asking an AI platform who's the best restoration company or whatever those external environments, all of those things are looking for online data points and looking for information to display people.
Yes.
That is the truth of what is going to be true. So if that's true, then you've got to ask yourself as a business owner, okay, well, if that's where the market is going to be and that's where the value is going to be, how do I create value there?
Yeah.
And how do I do that over the long term? And online reviews or customer feedback, your testimonials, is not just powerful because it gives you a place to collect all of your feedback. It actually gives you significant weight in Google algorithms, will drive you leads, will grow your business. And over time, when you go to sell your company, what are you selling? Like, you're selling some equipment, maybe some employees that may or may not stay, depending on what's going on. And you're selling your reputation, both your online kind of presence and reputation, and then also what people say about you, in the community. And so we've seen over the last few years, many of our customers who we work with a lot of franchises and people in that world in different industries. And so that's a high sale model. They're in for 5 years and out a lot of times. And we've had people call us and say, hey, thank you for working with us. We were able to sell our business for way more at 200 reviews than when we had 20.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because our business was more attractive. And when we actually, on the other end of that, we start working with the buyers of those businesses in those communities that we work with. And every one of them says, we'll ask the question, what was attractive about this business? And one of the first things they say is, when I was considering this kind of business or looking in this area, I saw their reviews and they really stood out and I was attracted to this business. And so just like a consumer, you want them to have a bias towards you as a business. Right. You want that potential buyer of your business to say, I really like that restoration company. They look like they know what they've got going on.
Right.
And so it's all about thinking about that long game. Yeah. And with your team, setting that vision to say, hey, like, maybe we're small right now, or maybe we're large, but what do we want to be true in 5 years or 10 years? Well, I want to have the best reputation in any business in our area. Like, I want to be the restoration company that is number one on Google and with the most reviews, and say, we are the best. Yeah. And so you set that vision, and then you can begin to put it into practice and get the team bought in and make it fun, to get there. Right. It's going to take time to do it, but I guarantee you it's one of those things you look back on and you will never regret spending time building a great reputation, getting all those testimonials, and creating a huge organic lead source for yourself. Yeah, and talking about spending time and why what you're doing is so incredible and so helpful for the industry, and I implore everybody out there, look, I get it a lot. We try to, we refer people, hey, you really need reviews. It's going to supplement everything that we're doing. Here's how you need to be doing it. But the reality is, I'd say 90% of businesses out there, unless they've got 20 locations and they've got a whole management team, they're not properly leveraging online reviews. They're not getting them, or they'll do what I'm sure resonates with a lot of people is you'll go like 3 good weeks of just getting everybody, your cousins, your brothers, clients. You're not even activating an email list. So a company like Liftify takes it off your shoulders. Sure, I know how to change my own oil. I know how to do a lot of things on my vehicle, but time is valuable. And if you're running a business right now, you're juggling. I talk about restoration businesses or entrepreneurs in general as being plate spinners, like at the circus. Yep. And typically marketing is the plate that they let wobble off. Okay, I'll deal with that one later. I'm going to do with operations. And you have so many things going on. I implore you to look into online reputation management companies just to help you. I mean, the price is, it's invaluable. I mean, it's invaluable. Like I would say you're not charging enough for what you guys do, but the impact that you're going to have long-term, short-term, if you're spending money on SEO, you're spending money with a digital marketing agency, what Zach does and what their company does is like putting rocket fuel into your vehicle to get you to where you need to be. And it allows you to concentrate on more important things. Because one big thing that happens a lot, and we hear the frustrations everywhere, is, things like reviews aren't sticking. Look, forget just getting reviews in general. Now, reviews aren't sticking. People are leaving fake reviews on your account. You get a 1 star. How do we respond? And now, instead of just
having this process in your company to where, hey, we're going to get these reviews. Now you're dealing with Google taking them away. You're dealing with them, or not showing up. And so companies like him are able to you're just able to offload so much of this hard work. I mean, it's a full-time job. It really is. If you really do it right, you got 3 people full-time working on just that kind of stuff. So speaking of which, I know you got a booth set up right across from me here. I wanted to give some people some actionable things. And one thing that's been happening a lot in our agency with our clients, and we see it on forums and whatnot, are reviews going away.
Yeah.
All right. What's something that people out there, maybe you can give them a little piece of advice on how to handle something like that, or something you're seeing from your end that maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel and that's going to kind of maybe slow down a little bit?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I think first of all, I'm sorry that's happening to you. It's happening to us. So we have 20% of our reviews being hidden right now because people work with us all over the country. And one of the filters Google uses, where is your physical location? Mm-hmm. So you review us in California or Florida. We're based in Indianapolis. It may get hidden, and it sucks. And I'm sorry, I understand it. Yeah. I get it. It is emotional, because it's a real customer. It's a real review and it's getting hidden. I think just what we try to educate people on is just perspective on it, to say, why is this happening? A lot of people we at least hear is Google's out to get me. They're looking at my account. They're just trying to hide it. And I think what people don't see on the other end is that Google is dealing with huge amounts of spam, bots, and different things that they are trying to control and keep out of the reviews so that it's actually pure and so that it actually adds value. Yeah. And I think when you actually think about that, is an incredibly hard job. Google does not want to hide legitimate content from their platform because it's for them and it's valuable for them, right? And so I think they have said publicly they're going to get better. They've acknowledged it's a problem. It is a problem. You are not alone. Every company in the world is going through this challenge right now. And it's been more in the last year. Yeah. And so I think that, it is real. It sucks. Yep. Everybody's dealing with it. So the question is, how do you counteract it? Right. And I think, some positive things we're seeing from Google, they recently published a form that you could submit and get reviews reinstated. Yep. Now, I'd be curious your answer. I have never had success with this.
Not yet, no. We're 7 weeks into a couple of our forms.
Okay, so we're about the same. We tried some initially, and we haven't seen success with it. But to me, there could be a huge backlog there.
There has to be a huge backlog.
I'm sure
think about just how little... it's a big industry, but how little this industry compared to every, now you're talking about all the home services combined, right? And they're all dealing with the same thing.
Going beyond that.
It's crazy. Every time there's a bug with Google Business Profile a couple years ago, everybody was just getting shut down, locked down, suspended for breathing on it funny. And Google will not say anything about it for a little while. Then finally, when they have a fix, they'll say, okay, we had a bug, but we're backlogged by 5 weeks. So just bear with us and be patient. But the good thing is, like you said, they have now a process where they used to not have a legitimate process dedicated to getting reviews back up. And I did a quick episode on it as we were testing it ourselves. We didn't have any, but we have not had any success with getting them reinstated. But I will say one of the things, and I'm sure you would agree, the best way to combat losing reviews is to have a good, proper system in place to getting more reviews. Yeah. And then, it's not going to hurt as bad at the end of a year, right? You're going to you might lose 20%, but you've gained 80%. So if you got 10 reviews, you lost 2, big deal. You've got 8 really good reviews on your profile. And that's where you got to keep, don't get discouraged. Just keep going with what you're doing and try to get those reviews in.
Yeah. And I would just use the sports analogy, right? You can play defense to an extent, and you should, hey, Google, these are my reviews, put them back. And there's a lot of indication they're putting resources into it, and it will get better. And some of those reviews might come back. I'll throw this out. Yeah. A lot of people think they're deleted. They're not deleted. No. They're just hidden. They're on that user's account. They could come back at any moment if the filters change. And we've seen that a little bit, that fluctuation. So that's good. So that's good news. So you can play defense, but to your point, you can't just sit there and play defense and hope people don't score on you. You've got to take the ball and go drive it home.
That's right.
And you've got to go get reviews, and you've got to get more from your competitors and say, hey, we know some might be hidden right now, but at the end of the day, so that's happening for our competitors too. We're going to go get more, and we're going to win. Yeah. And the win-win that I think is probably going to happen at the end of this, if we're sitting down a year from now and having this discussion, is not only will you have driven more, but you're probably going to have some of those past reviews start to show as Google gets better at the filter. They're investing resources in this, we know for sure. And so I think that's the obvious answer is you've got to go get more, and it's not just you. I just can't reemphasize that. People think it's only happening to me. It's it is not. It is happening to everybody.
Yeah, and you're dealing also with spammers that are reporting reviews that are legitimate. There's a lot that Google's dealing with, and we deal with it on the SEO side. I don't want to say every time there's an algorithm update. So, every time there's a core algorithm update, like a major one, you get dunked underwater, right? And it sucks. You'll lose rankings. You're going to lose keyword. You're going to lose organic traffic. But if you're doing the right thing, like my agency, Ironclad Restoration Marketing, we know we're not trying to circumvent Google's protocol. All we're doing is reading their guidelines, and we're putting the content out there and optimizing it for those guidelines. We are so confident that when there's a core update, unless it's just a complete change somewhere, that we're going to get dunked up and we're going to resurface at some point. It might be 4 or 5 months down the road, but they're filtering out all the bad and all the people that are trying to do black hat techniques to kind of get them off the first page and really deliver good results. Because Google's intent is to deliver the most relevant, pertinent results to what their user base is looking for. So if you keep that in the back of your mind and don't be a victim, because Google, trust me, Google has no idea who you are. And that's why SEO comes into play. And that's why reviews come into play. We want to get them to get to know us a little bit. So don't be discouraged. But, like you said, you just play some offense, and you should be playing offense quite a bit. It's probably more important than defense, to be honest with you. If you're not dealing with something that's trying to really hurt you, you're dealing with something that's trying to help you.
Like in any part of your business, your life, I think you've got to focus on what's the controllables.
Yes.
What are the things I can control? The truth is, Ben can't get a review back or force a ranking to say, I'm going to rank for this keyword right away tomorrow. I can't get your reviews back. But what you can do is, I think, what you guys can do is do good practices that are going to lead to long-term success. We can help you drive reviews, or you can do it on your own, but you can control going and getting more. Like, focus on what you can control. You can waste a lot of energy on things you can't control. Focus on what you can control. And the biggest thing I would say is just the consistency. We talked about like rawing up the team or putting peer pressure on them for 2 weeks is not a good strategy. Do you know, Ben, there's a new report out, how many customers say that they only read reviews from the last 30 days? What percentage?
I'd say probably a higher percentage, like 80%?
75%.
75, okay.
Of customers say they only care about reading reviews from the last 30 days. So you better be getting new ones all the time, especially if you're not a huge company and it's not easy to get 10 a week. One a week, one every other week can be huge for your business from the Google perspective, but also for customers to make you look alive, stand out from your competitors.
But consistency is the word. I guess it's funny having, all the different guests from all the different industries we have on. That word we always come back to being consistent. And that's true. Look, we're having life lessons right now, Zach. Like, he's consistency and doing the right thing and playing, having that faith and playing offense. That's everything in your life, right? You're not going to, think about it like this. When it comes to marketing and getting reviews and all that stuff, you wanted to lose 100 pounds, right? And you hired a coach you're going to help me lose 100 pounds. And every single day, a weekend, you've eaten okay, you've gone to the gym for 3 days, and so, you know what, I haven't lost any weight at all. I'm done. This isn't working. And that's the wrong mentality to have. And it transcends life, and it goes into the marketing and everything that you do. So mindset really matters when it comes to this. So I appreciate you, bringing in that consistency word, because that's important. One a week is better than none, right? One a week is better than 10 1 week and none.
And I think what I'm even learning as a business owner right now is just what areas can you outsource and I don't automate's a loose term, but make more efficient. And like, I'm always one to guilty of trying to do more on my own than I should, and either giving it to all other team members on our team or external help. And I think, reviews and SEO in marketing, like, you should not be doing in-house.
No.
It does not make any financial sense, and you are missing out.
There's some people out there in the world that say that, and I've been on other podcasts where they challenge that. Well, why wouldn't somebody just be able to go do SEO and earn? And they could. I'm not saying you can't. I mean, I have a book right here. I've got a bunch to plug the book. This shows you how to do SEO yourself to some extent, minus some of the changes that have happened already this year. A true SEO job takes 4 or 5 people, depending on how big your company is. I mean, we have 5 people that are dedicated just to content, which is just like one of 200 ranking factors. So you got to look at it as a full-time job, and then you got to look at what's more important to you as a business owner. And all business owners in the restoration space are different people, right? Some are operations heavy, some are HR heavy, some know nothing. And they're just jumping in. So to try to take on something that's so profound for the success of your business, but also takes so much of your time, what's going to fail in your business while you're trying to concentrate on that, when you have great companies out there all over the place that can do that work for you, that are experts in the field, that are going to you can trust that they're going to do the right thing, right? You have some levity there to be able to move around where you want.
Well, it's the conversation on buy versus build. In every part of your business. Are you going to buy it and get extra help to just solve that problem? Or are you going to build that function internally? And hiring marketing people, the turnovers there, trying to get them in your kind of business, the amount of time it would take. Like, if you want to be profitable and you want to grow your business fast, focus your time and energy on what is core to you, which in this space is go restore more homes and more businesses, and go do that. And then bring the right people around you to support the engine so you can stay in your lane. You know, and that's typically what you're going to enjoy as a business owner or leader. That's why you got into business. You're in that trade. You want to do that stuff. You know, the marketing stuff's probably draining. You know, it's kind of like the finance, the HR stuff for me. It just, makes me want to not work. But I love the part that I do as far as the sales and the marketing part. But that's what I really get passionate about.
And that's what you should be spending the time on doing. So, and then one thing you touched on out there, if you're thinking about hiring a marketing person in your business, just remember this, that whatever the resume says, I've been in the digital marketing space for close to 12 years now. I've never found that unicorn that is an expert SEO, expert at pay-per-click, expert at Google Business, then can stay on top of everything and then fulfill the demands of content that you need to do it. And there are some out there, but you're talking about spending a pretty penny. So when you bring a marketing person on, be purposeful with that marketing person, maybe as more of an oversight of an agency that you might be bringing in, because it does take, to do SEO probably takes a couple people, and that's just one channel, right? Then your Google Business, that's a full-time job. Then social media is another thing.
What we see in a lot of the businesses we work with, local businesses, both in restoration or other businesses, they typically have a marketing person that's a younger person in marketing that is really kind of overseeing and managing and helping facilitate the external partners. And I think that's a really good relationship 100%. Because that shouldn't probably be going back to the owner all the time or the leader, but that person still, they're learning. The opportunity for them is they get to partner with the agency and the different vendors and stuff, and they're learning, and they're young, and they're more affordable, but they can add value, and they're willing to put in the effort, and it helps them grow in their career too. So that's a model I would recommend.
No, I love it. And one last thing before we wrap up, what from your experience dealing now a lot heavier in the restoration space, what are the best businesses out there doing when it comes to digital marketing, online reputation? What do they have going on? The most successful.
I think from a reputation perspective, from a review perspective, they have gotten their teams to buy in that we are going to be the best. Their guys in the field want it. They've gamified it, if you will. They read the reviews out loud in the team meetings. It's competitive between the technicians. They're like, oh, Ben got a review, and everybody stands up, they read Ben's, and then they're like, man, I'm going to go get a review this week because I want to be called out.
Awesome.
Building that into your culture not only affects your reviews, but then it starts to change how you're treating customers, right? Because you're talking to customers saying, hey, Mrs. Smith, I would really love a 5-star review. I'm going to do such a great job that you're wanting to give me that review at the end. And that kind of changes the little things that they might do. And it begins to change the entire business. I think that, that mentality just transforms a business, as a whole. And that would be kind of the key thing that we're seeing. And I think the clear differentiator between the businesses in restoration that we're seeing succeed versus not with us and in general, or they have it going on, is that consistency factor. Do they have a good process?
Consistency.
We see it in reviews, but oftentimes if they're not consistent in the process we've laid out and they don't follow through on that, they're also not following through with even putting their contact information in the CRM. And it's probably in other areas of the business. And so it's just so clear, and we're looking at even like what's a qualified candidate for us. It's kind of qualitative, right? But you're looking at it saying, are you actually committed to running this and having consistency? Because that's what's going to produce fruit for you and for me.
Right, because your success is dictated by that, right? Your success, meaning a reputation management company that's come in, is dictated by the consistency and the SOPs that they have in the company. So if you don't have any, get them written down. If you haven't check out Liftify.com. Check out what Zach's been doing. Follow him on LinkedIn. They're a wealth of knowledge. We hope to have him on the podcast a lot more often, but I know you got to get back to your booth here pretty soon, man. I appreciate you stopping by. Come by anytime, man. Thanks a lot for all the info.